this late stage of the season. You're right. I mean, you and I 8 to go now in overtime.
You and I did that trip to Alaska. It took us about a day and a half.
I still have jet lag.
I know it.
Now Cook carried into the zone momentarily, but shot back out by Niagara. And shot up into the Niagara bench with 7.5 to go in overtime.
And Bemidji State, Steve, very close to another too many men on the ice.
I'll wait for the graphic. Tournament history, right? THA tournament history. Face-off upcoming at center ice. 3-3 our score in overtime. 7.5 left to go in the first overtime session. And congratulations to Bemidji State and Niagara. This is now the longest game in CHA history. And this is carried in offside by Niagara.
Oh boy, that was pretty close. That was close. But the official right on the spot to make the call as Niagara trying to get themselves turned around. Take a look at it on the blue line and not out, not out, not out.
Never did go out.
Sorry, hey, listen, you know what? These guys have called a hell of a game tonight. You're allowed to make a mistake. And that one was fairly innocuous.
Good eyes by you, however. I will give you some credit.
It's goalie eyes. Hey, listen, you never lose them.
Larry. Doubles it all the way down to the Bemidji State blue line.
There's nobody better than me watching that puck go in the net.
And Ninot stops it behind his own net, plays it off the glass far side. Transition for the Purple Eagles. Goes to Larry, trying to center, broken up, gets it back, again poked away, and a shot hit the side of the net.
Good sticks by Bemidji State. Sticks are on the ice, sticks are active.
Trying to center, and they score! Niagara, the CHA champions, and the Purple Eagles go to the NCAA tournament! The faces of a dejected Bemidji State team, denied in heartbreaking fashion for the second year in a row. Coming up ever so close to being CHA champions. And once again, a look at the game-winning goal.
And should we be surprised that Niagara gets one in tight? That is someplace where they've been good. And they manufacture a goal by winning a battle in a quiet zone. That's a tough goal. It's a bit of a choppy play. It's a quick centering pass. It's not a clean shot, and a lot of times in these overtimes, it's not a clean goal that goes in. But congratulations to the Niagara Purple Eagles.
They are the CHA champions for the second time, and also for the second time, they advance to the NCAA tournament. The celebration goes on for the Purple Eagles here at Tri-City Arena. And that does it for us from Kearney, Nebraska. Again, the final score in overtime. It's Niagara 4, Bemidji State 3. For more information, you can log on to CSTV.com. This has been a presentation of CSTV, College Sports Television, the new home of college sports. For Dave Starman and our entire hockey crew, I'm Steve Schlanger. Thanks for joining us for this thriller from Kearney, Nebraska. And good night, everybody.
2 for Dimitri Young, 5-0 Tigers. That's a little preview of what's to come this year, folks.
If a lazy moment turns into the right moment, will you be ready? Introducing Cialis, the first tablet for erectile dysfunction that gives you up to 36 hours to choose the moment that's right for you and your partner. New Cialis goes to work fast and can work for up to 36 hours. Cialis is not for everyone. If you take nitrates for chest pain or certain alpha blockers for prostate problems or high blood pressure, do not take Cialis. Such combinations could cause a sudden unsafe drop in blood pressure. Don't drink alcohol in excess with Cialis. The most common side effects were headache, upset stomach, delayed backache, or muscle ache. Erections lasting longer than 4 hours, though rare, require immediate medical help. Discuss your health status with your doctor to ensure Cialis is right for you and you are healthy enough for sexual activity. Ask your doctor if a free sample of prescription Cialis is right for you. 36-hour Cialis. When the moment is right, will you be ready?
NCAA Women's Championship, second day of it. We've already had a 13-over-4 upset, a 2 seed being pushed to the limit in Kansas State, with the Wildcats survive and advance, and we've got much more coming your way in just a little while. Tip times for the next round of games. These will be on ESPN. We'll get everyone started with the return of the All-American Lindsay Whalen for Minnesota. She's missed 8 games with a broken hand. She'll give it a go against UCLA. A couple of number 1 seeds also swinging into action. Penn State at 2:46 Eastern Time. Duke will tip off 5 minutes after that. Notre Dame also gets underway at 41 minutes after the hour. Okay, we've had an early session of the second day. Some more excitement, another upset. What leaps out at you?
Well, the game I'm looking forward to is Duke. I just want to see Duke play. This is the team that's coming into the tournament extremely hungry. They're playing great defense. They're playing some of their best basketball of the season. Elena Beard, we know all about her. How are the other ones going to react? Is Isis Tillis going to come to play? How about Lindsey Harding? What kind of defense are we going to see today?
I'm real interested in Penn State. They lost that Big Ten tournament championship game to Purdue. How do they come out and perform in their first game?
Okay, for those of you who've been watching on ESPN2, we encourage you to go ahead and turn over to ESPN, where we will have more of the NCAA Women's Championship. And for those of you on ESPN2, coming up next, the NCAA Hockey Tournament Selection Show. For Stacy and Nell, I'm Reese. We're coming right back on the other network.
They score! It's over! Gustafson wins the game and the national championship! Galanos, in he goes! He scores! Chris Galanos wins it for BC! Leopold on net. A tip pull on the Rocket. And they scored when Patoli wins it for Minnesota!
Before they play for the wins, we will tell you who is in. The NCAA Hockey Selection Show begins right now. Live in Studio A at the worldwide leader in sports. Welcome to the 2004 NCAA Hockey Selection Show. I'm John Butchergoss. We'll unveil the 16 teams who will play for that piece of hardware you just saw. Help me out in the next half hour. Bob Norton, of course, who will call the game on ESPN2 and ESPN with Sean McDonough. Bob, great to have you back on our coverage. Nice to be here. And, of course, Adam Woden, one of the most respected and informed voices in college hockey. Help us with those tough mathematical questions and also ask the hard questions. That's how we always bring Adam along. Well, of course, we'll unveil the 16 teams. Also, we'll take you live to a few spots to get the reaction from the coaches and the players. We'll go to Madtown. Check out the Wisconsin Badgers. Coach Mike Eves has 2 sons playing for Boston College. He could coach against his own boys before the championship game. We'll talk about that. Also, we'll head to South Bend, Indiana, where Philly Flyer Hall of Famer Dave Poland is hoping to get the word that Notre Dame is going to its first NCAA tournament appearance, although when you're the father of twin daughters, everything pales in comparison. So again, we'll unveil the 16 teams who will play for the 2004 NCAA National Championship. And let's talk about some of the selection process. Adam, we'll start with you. What's this pairwise ranking we're hearing?
A very methodical process that the NCAA uses, very objective. I mean, before the weekend is over, the games are over, just as they're over, everyone knows pretty much who's going to be in the tournament. The mystery really comes down to the seedings. That's where the committee has the right to juggle things around based on a number of factors. But usually teams know who's going to be in. The seedings we'll find out in a few minutes.
And the matchups as well, and where they're going as far as the regions are concerned. Meanwhile, here is the selection process. Who makes it? Again, we have 16 teams in all. Second time we've had 16 teams go. 6 automatic bids, 4 regional sites. The host schools do stay in the home region, and teams are not reseeded for the semifinals. All right, here are your automatic bids. These teams knew when they woke up this morning they were going to play for the national championship. Your conference champion winners, and some had major implications on who would be in and who would be out, like that Hockey East, which went into the deep hours of the morning on the East Coast, and that thrilling game involving Maine and UMass. Let's check out the regions, the 4 regions for the NCAA. We'll start in Albany, the East Regional. Who will end up there? Will it be Maine? Will it be Boston College? Meanwhile, Manchester, New Hampshire, a little smaller ice surface than UNH is used to playing on, 15 feet less wide. Out in the Midwest, Grand Rapids, Michigan, and then out west in Colorado Springs, Colorado College, the host school. Now, who are the #1 seeds? Here we go. Top overall seed as well is North Dakota. They are going to the west. Boston College will play in the Northeast region. So BC is in the Northeast region, #2 seed overall. Maine, Hockey East champion. They will play in the East region. They're the 3rd top overall seed. And Minnesota, 2-time defending champs, #1 seed, 4th overall in the Midwest. So Boston College, not a strong finish, Adam, yet they get the #1 seed.
Well, we talked about this, the methodical process, and here it is. I mean, Boston College was 1-5 down the stretch. Do they deserve a #1 seed? Well, that is not one of the criteria. What is going on in the last 16 games used to be a criteria to the NCAA, but it isn't anymore. So what the Eagles did down the stretch doesn't matter. Fact of the matter is, they were tremendous throughout the course of the season, and because of that, they deserve their #1 seed.
There's their last 6 games. What was their issue, Bob? Why were they so weak down the stretch?
Well, they got banged up a little bit. They clinched the Hockey East Championship early. They had an injury to Ben Eves. He was part-time duty as the season went on. Matty Caltaini, the goaltender, had a groin strain. So they clinched early, and they had some injuries, and they just never were able to fire up for BU, and they ran into a hot goaltender in Sean Fields of Boston University.
And again, we had the issue, would it be Albany or would it be Manchester for Boston College? It won't be Manchester. It'll be Albany. You think they like that?
They sure do. That's where they won the national championship. They're going to be real happy right up there.
All right. So let's begin now with the East bracket. We know the #1 seed, of course, in the East is Maine. Maine, the Hockey East champion. They will take on Harvard. So Maine, 6th straight appearance, takes on the Crimson, who really were well thought of all year long, although they really stumbled, but then finished strong. So Harvard with a big win last night. You saw them play last night, Bob.
Yeah, I sure did. I tell you, though, they got a tough, scrappy team to beat in Maine. Maine is a tremendous hockey team. They're very, very scrappy and tough. Jimmy Howard, many people think is the best goaltender in the country. They really play hard all game long. They're very, very tough to compete against, and they proved that last night against Mass. Harvard is red hot. Most people pick them to be the #1 team in the ECAC. They were losing record in February, and now they came back and won big at the end of the season.
Okay, let's see the rest of that East bracket in Albany. We begin with Ohio State now. The Ohio State Buckeyes, what a great moment it was for them. The Buckeyes, big winners last night over Michigan. They will take on Wisconsin. So the Buckeyes are highest seed ever. They advanced to the Frozen Four in 1998, and they will take on Wisconsin, Adam.
Well, it's a very intriguing matchup. I like that. It should be a really exciting game. The Big Ten opponents right there. But let's talk about Harvard for a second, because as Bob was saying, I mean, this is a team that's been a tease the last few years. And Harvard now, I mean, they came into the season ranked #6 overall. They only finished 6th in the league. We've been waiting for them to really break through and have a tremendous season front to finish, but this year they stumbled, as Bob said, and now they're here with another opportunity. They won their last 7 games, and you know, people like to see them finally win an NCAA game. They got a game in Maine, which they can win. They took them to overtime 2 years ago. It's not out of the question.
Maine national championship winners in '93 and '99, Bob, coming off their big win last night. How do you see them in the tournament?
I just think they're very, very tough. They're very well coached by Tim Whitehead, and I think that Jimmy Howard is the best goaltender in the country at this time, and he's been proving it come tournament time.
All right, so Maine, there it is, as you see there, the East Regional, Maine and Harvard, in Albany, Ohio State, and Wisconsin. And really a great moment last night for the Buckeyes. They really held on in that win over Michigan.
You watched that game. It was unbelievable, actually. They were up 3-0, and the last 8 minutes, with 8 minutes to go in the game, and the last 8 minutes were just throwing everything but the kitchen sink at the Ohio State net. The fact that Ohio State held on under that much pressure at Joe Louis Arena is a testament to them, but Michigan threw everything they had at them, and it didn't look good there for a while for the Buckeyes, but a great job by them to break that spell, Michigan State spell in the CCHA tournament.
All right, so again, the East bracket, Maine, Harvard, Wisconsin, and Ohio State. Okay, meanwhile, let's go out live now to Madison, Wisconsin, and talk with their head coach, Mike Eaves. Coach, thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
Let's talk about your team and your program. Of course, it's a great day for hockey again in Wisconsin as you guys once again make the postseason tournament. Can you begin, you think, a consistent mode of success once again at Wisconsin like you had, of course, so many years ago?
Well, we believe so. It's been a little bit of a transition, but I think certainly this year the players and the coaches have come to be on the same page, and we've had the type of season that we've had because of that reason.
Coach, not very often Coach gets a chance to coach against his kids, and you could end up playing against BC. Tell me that feeling.
Well, last year we actually had to do it. We went out to BC and played there, and it's unusual. Really, you don't think about it much till after the game when you go out and have dinner, and then somebody's got bragging rights. But if we have to do it, we'll do it, but we'd prefer not to.
Yeah, well, it would take a couple of wins for both of you to reach that point, of course, Coach, but good luck to you in your opening round game against Ohio State. When we come back, we'll talk live to the Boston College head coach, the man who coaches the Eaves boys. Boston College, of course, will begin play in Manchester. We'll unveil who they will play in the first round of the NCAA when the selection show continues right after this.
I shadowed your husband. He's been a very busy boy.
Is this?
The new Fiesta taco salad.
But why?
Frankly, tastes even better than before.
Introducing Taco Bell's new Fiesta Taco Salad. All the classic ingredients you love, made better with a new tangy chunky salsa and new lime-seasoned crunchy tortilla strips, served in a crispy tortilla bowl.
Two can play this game.
For a taco salad that's even better than the original, think outside the bun.
Final Fantasy XI Online. Rated T for teen.
Dear DirecTV, your customer service people answer the phone quickly, solve my issues, and are extraordinarily knowledgeable. If I were still single and DirecTV were a woman, I'd marry you. Thanks again, Jason Steve. It sounds like Jason's confused.
Get over 125 channels for $29.99 a month for 6 months, plus equipment and installation for up to 3 rooms free.
The NCAA Women's Basketball Championship continues through April 6th on ESPN and ESPN2.
The last time the Frozen Four was in Boston, we had a thriller as Michigan faced hometown favorite Boston College.
Can you say sudden death overtime and the Wolverines are the national champions?
Now we're back in Beantown. Tune to ESPN2 on April 8th at noon and 6 Eastern for the semis, and April 10th at 7 Eastern on ESPN to catch the national championship. And welcome back, Bob Norton. We'll again provide the color for the Frozen Four along with Sean McDonough, Adam Wodenbach. I'm John Butchergoss. Let's continue on now. The teams who will play for the national championship. Time now for the Northeast Regional in Manchester, New Hampshire. And there's Boston College, #1. Boston College has not had good memories recently in New Hampshire. We'll talk about that. They will take on Niagara. So it's Boston College and Niagara, the Purple Eagles. Upset UNH in the first round of the 2000 tournament. Meanwhile, the 2-3 game, the Michigan Wolverines, who won in Boston in 1998. Of course, that's where the Frozen Four is this year. They get the at-large bid, and they will take on New Hampshire. Yes, New Hampshire is in New Hampshire, but they don't play where they normally play. 15 feet less ice surface in terms of width for New Hampshire. They have a 200 by 100 rink they normally play, and this is 200 by 85. And let's talk about Boston College again. Bob, they don't like going to New Hampshire. Their record has not been good there.
No, playing against UNH, they won 12-1 since UNH has been the wit. But, I mean, this is a team with a fragile psyche right now. They were tops in the league, in the country, most of the year, along with North Dakota. But they really hit the skids at the end of the season. Their injuries had something to do with that. They play Niagara in the opening round. They've got to get their goaltending squared away, develop some confidence there. They've got to get their power play to be effective with all the good players they have. And Niagara's a good opponent for them to try to build some confidence. Niagara has a win in this tournament, but BC likes Niagara as a first-round opponent.
Let's talk about Michigan, Adam. We watched that game last night against Ohio State. They were down 3-0, really came on strong in the third period. Perhaps they can use that for momentum.
Yeah, but you know, because of that loss, they wind up lowering themselves a little bit in the overall seeds now. They're down to about an 8 overall seed, and that matches them up against New Hampshire, basically a home game for New Hampshire. Oh, how the tables have turned here. Michigan used to getting a home game in Ann Arbor so often in the NCAAs. Well, now they have to go on the road, basically, and play New Hampshire. No one's crying Michigan a river that they have to go do that. But I would not put anything past Michigan in terms of advancing in this tournament. But, again, the committee stuck to this 116, 215, 8 versus 9 and kept Michigan here in New Hampshire, 8 versus 9 game.
Okay, back out to Boston College again. As Bob mentioned, they will play Niagara in the first round. Let's go out live now and talk with their head coach, Jerry York. He coached BC to a title in 2001. And, Coach, we talked about your team a bit banged up. How is the health of your squad, or more importantly, how will it be a week from now?
Well, John, we're certainly refocused and re-energized on the second season. All of us are excited about playing Niagara and getting this thing going in the right direction.
Coach, what's your thoughts about playing in New Hampshire? I mean, you know, against a conference opponent and possibly a quasi-home game there.
You know, we're just feel very fortunate, very excited about playing in a national tournament. It could be in our parking lot in Watertown, Mass, but we're excited about playing.
Hey, Coach, you know, Ben Eves was the Hobey Baker finalist last year. Terrific player. Restricted to power play at the end of the season, the series against BU. Talk about your health.
Well, I think Ben is full up. He had a fractured kneecap. It's been 11 weeks, Bob, but I've said it a number of times. He is flat-out the best player in college hockey. And when he's back and healthy like he is now, we become a very, very good hockey team.
Thanks so much, Coach. As we mentioned, they won the Beanpot in Boston, so perhaps they do have some good memories for success as they tackle this year's quest to win a championship. All right, time now to go west, young men, and check out the West Regional matchups. Number 1 seed, North Dakota, the powerhouse North Dakota team. They will take on Holy Cross. First ever NCAA appearance for Holy Cross. They got, of course, the automatic bid, the Atlantic Hockey Tournament champions. The other matchup in the West in Colorado Springs, the 2-3 game. Denver, the Pioneers, with the at-large bid, their 16th overall appearance, 5 NCAA titles, but none since 1969. They take on the Red Hawks of Miami of Ohio from the CCHA. 0-2 all-time in the ACE and the NCAA tournament for Miami of Ohio. So Denver stays home, Adam.
Yeah, again, this is interesting here. We're talking about the overall seeds. Now, North Dakota's the overall number 1 seed. You figure they play the overall number 8 in the second round, but this is the only place where the committee looks like they've deviated from that. They have the 7 seed versus the 10 here, and that's because they want to keep Denver in that home region. So that's the only place the committee deviated, but it sets up a great matchup here between Denver and Miami with Enrico Blasi, the coach of Miami, who played for George Gwozdecki at Miami, coached with him at Denver, and now it's the coach versus the mentor.
Yeah, that is a great matchup. And, Bob, what about North Dakota and Holy Cross? I know you got a soft spot to see Holy Cross get
I sure do, you know, but I'll tell you, Dean Blaze, 2 national championships. Brendan Brzezinski, Hobey Baker finalist. Zach Parisi, Hobey Baker finalist. These guys can fire the puck. Kudos to Paul Pearl, those Jesuits of Holy Cross. Never anticipated they'd become a hockey power before a basketball power, but Paul Pearl got them there.
Well, there are the matchups as you see there in Colorado Springs. Okay, much more to come here on the 2004 NCAA Hockey Selection Show. What about the champs? Minnesota, what's up for them? We'll check on the Gophers when we return.
Sorry.
When you care more about beer, Samuel Adams, always a good decision.
What's wrong? He's at it again. No. The lunch meetings, the receipts, and this. He's in a meeting.
It's not what you think. It's even better now.
Taco Bell's new Fiesta Taco Salad is better than before. All the tastes you love with a new tangy chunky salsa and new lime seasoned crunchy tortilla strips. For a taco salad that's even better than the original, think outside the bun.
You just can't lose at the Hyundai Win-Win Spring Event.
Win with the popular Hyundai Sonata. Get $1,500 cash back or 0% APR on every Sonata.
Save thousands over comparable Toyotas and Hondas.
And you win with America's best warranty. 10 years, 100,000 miles.
You win some, you win some at the Hyundai Win-Win Spring Event.
Now through March 31st.
Get a 2004 Hyundai Sonata with $1,500 cash back or 0% APR.
Now available, Season 3 of Highlander, the most amazing DVD collection ever. Sci-Fi Space gives it 4.5 out of 5 stars. Digitally Obsessed calls it downright excellent. With never-seen-before 700 minutes of lost and deleted scenes and exclusive interviews from stars Adrian Paul, Stan Kirsch, Jim Burns, and Elizabeth Grayson. Get Season 3 of Highlander, along with the most incredible content ever featured on a DVD. Available everywhere.
Welcome back to the Selection Show. Last night's Hockey East title game certainly had ramifications. Maine off to a 1-0 lead. Dustin Penner puts the lotion in the basket. Third period, 1-0 Maine. Greg Malden. Holy shnikey, what a slap shot. Ties the game at 1. Overtime now, 1-1. Jimmy Howard. Oh, look at him. Look like Doug Favell there, Bob. Third overtime. And what Mark Hoppus is to Blink-182, Ben Murphy is to the Black Bears. He is clutch and clutches everything in life, and Maine is a winner. And, of course, that had implications on who was getting in. There were some nervous people around the country, specifically in the Midwest. We'll talk about that. But first, let's talk about the Midwest bracket and what that win possibly could have meant to Notre Dame. They are in. They will take on, of course, the two-time defending champs. Couple of ex-Irishmen going at it there. There they are. They're shocked in South Bend as they're heading to their first tournament ever under Dave Pullen. It'll be Minnesota and Notre Dame. 5 CCHA teams, the most ever. And the other game in the Midwest region in Grand Rapids, Michigan, it'll be, here's a good one, Minnesota Duluth. They are in for the WCHA. They get the at-large bid, their first appearance since 1993. And they'll go up against the Spartans of Michigan State. 23rd overall appearance. Their last title came in 1986. And let's talk about Minnesota, Bob, and their team. Right now, perhaps their coach is the most unhealthiest player on the team, as, of course, Donnie's dealing with his neck. But let's talk about this team, and can they make it 3 in a row?
Well, they're going to be the first three-peat if they do since Michigan 51, 2, and 3. Grant Patulny playing superbly for them. And last year's tournament MVP, Thomas Vanek, hot at the right time. The big Gophers getting angry at the right time here. They're a tough team, and someone's going to have to beat them.
And Notre Dame hopes they're the team to beat them in the first round. Let's go live out to South Bend and talk with their head coach, Dave Pullen, who once did this selection show a couple of years ago. In fact, Dave, I think at that time you were a bubble team, and as you were getting your makeup on, I informed you your team wasn't going to get in. It's good news this year. Tell the folks how you were watching the game last night, or actually not watching the game, as you were hoping Maine would come through.
Well, thanks, John. I'm in a lot better seat now than I was the last time, I'll tell you what. I had to have the makeup people put a smile on my face after you told me the last time. But last night, I think everybody did different things. A lot of the guys watched the game, and one of the kids, Neil Komodowski, said, now I know what my parents feel like for the last 4 years. But we had a bunch of people over at the house, and about the third period, they put it on the internet and started listening to it. We were just getting updates. And in the triple overtime, I was the only person in my house. I was sitting watching a basketball game in another room, and there were about 25 people huddled around the computer, and I heard a big roar go up, so it was great.
Coach, congratulations, first of all. But talk about this bonus points, it looks like. That looks like what got you into the tournament. You guys played a lot of tough teams this year. You beat Boston College in their place, and you beat Maine in Florida. And it looks like that's what it came down to. So talk about scheduling those kind of teams. And was this purposeful on your behalf? And could you think about that far in advance at the time?
Well, if you ask me about 15 minutes before each one of those games starts, you ask yourself if it's purposeful. But we had great success in the non-conference. We beat BC at BC. We beat Maine. We also beat and tied Wisconsin up at their place. So you put together a schedule and you hope it makes you a better hockey team for this time of year. And we've had some great experiences this year. I think it made us better. There was sort of that little mystery tag beside the bonus points. We didn't know how that was going to play out.
Coach, was there one point during the season that you felt that this team had a chance to be an NCAA team?
Well, I think it was all the way through. You know, maybe the first time was when we beat BC at BC. I think that was the first mark where we said, you know what, we have a chance to do some special things this year. And we had great goaltending, we had real solid veteran defense, and we're really led by our seniors. And they wanted this. And ironically, the first game of their college career was against the University of Minnesota.
But again, when you're the father of twin daughters, it's tough to beat that and that challenge. But again, Dave Pullen, great job, and congratulations as the Irish get in. I know Digger Phelps was nervous yesterday. Are they in, John? Are they in? Let's talk about the big picture now. Here is the dealio. All 16 teams who are in, these are the 4 regions. And boys, as you look at that, Bobby, check out that whole bracket there. What's the big thing that jumps out at you?
Well, if you asked me back in January, I'd say North Dakota and BC, clearly favorites. I think right now, any one of 12 teams can win this tournament.
Adam,
No
what
question.
about you?
Well, it looks like, once again, the committee has gone through this very strict 116, 215 process, and they went very much by the numbers. They stuck to that again this year, except in one small instance, and that's what really stands out. They didn't try to deviate and forget second-round matchups. They got Minnesota playing Duluth in the second round, possibly, and in the past, that would never have happened.
All right, so just like the NHL, as they say, is wide open this year, college hockey as well, as Bob Norton just spoke of. Really, a lot of teams have a chance to hoist that hardware. Well, we come back, we'll talk with Ron Graham, part of the selection committee. Ask him questions on why they did some of the things they did as we wrap up the 2004 NCAA Hockey Selection Show.
Multitasking is great, except when you're driving. Answer the cell phone, referee the kids in the back seat, drink your coffee. We all do it. But Allstate knows if you do it a little less, you're less likely to have an accident or get a ticket. Keep a safe record and Allstate can save you up to 20%. Safe drivers cost everyone less. They should pay less. That's Allstate, Stan. Are you in good hands?
Way to go, Dad. You just ordered up some Dominoes. And you earned extra points with your kids by throwing in a fun side of new cheesy Domino's dots. Now you're free to spend some quality time with your son. Maybe even teach him how to play baseball. Lots and lots of baseball.
Have fun tonight. Get an order of new cheesy Domino's dots for just 99 cents when you buy a large one-topping pizza for $9.99. Get the door. It's a cheesy good time from Domino's.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with my new Kia Sedona. It's got a 10-year warranty. Did you see Anna have that? No. It was $2,300 less, and I got 3 years free maintenance.
You got free maintenance?
Yeah.
Dare to compare a Kia Sedona before you buy. With a 5-star safety rating, a 10-year warranty, and now for a limited time, get 3 years free maintenance. When you add it all up, there's no comparison.
Sawgrass's dreaded 17th hole awaits as Tiger Woods and golf's biggest guns take aim at the largest purse in the game.
Look out!
The Players' Championship. First round coverage begins Thursday at 11:30 a.m.
Last week on Dream Job, the judges stepped it up.
Who are these people and why should I care?
And Chet and Nick were sent packing. This week, the field of 6 narrows to 4. Dream Job, live tonight at 10 on ESPN. Who will be cutting next?
All right, NCAA Women's Championship on ESPN2 tonight, 7 Eastern and 4 Pacific. First round action. Tune in tonight. Welcome back to the Hockey Selection Show here on ESPN. And let's talk now with Ron Graham, the chairman of the Ice Hockey Committee. And Ron, associate AD out there in Denver. Let's talk about perhaps the Boston College-Maine situation. Maine goes to Albany. Boston College goes to New Hampshire. What was the thinking there? Because you could have gone either one.
Well, John, I think that the committee really felt like there was very little difference between Albany and Manchester. We really felt like both teams were very close to them geographically, either site. Manchester was probably, a lot of tickets have been sold at Manchester. They were probably bought by BC and New Hampshire fans, and to give Maine an opportunity to go to Albany and have a lot of their fans follow them, and that's part of the criteria or part of the priorities that we look at. That it's a good experience for the student athletes, but also an opportunity for their fans to see their teams play.
Ron, talk about this bonus point criteria you guys put in last year. It didn't really have an effect last year, but the quality wins, teams RPI gets boosted for beating strong teams out of conference. This really seemed to have an effect this year on the last spot with Notre Dame and Colorado College.
It really did help Notre Dame. I think what it does, Adam, I think it helps a good team when they're able to schedule those games and they're successful, whether it's on the road or in a tournament or at home, whatever it might be. I think a team that isn't necessarily really high in the rankings, I don't know if it'll help them that much, but a good team, if they play a tough schedule and they do well, it will help them.
Ron, anything come up in the selection process this year that you might like to change next year, and how does that happen?
Well, anything that we would change, Bob, would be done through the recommendation of the coaches in the summer at their meetings, and then the annual meeting that we have with the NCAA, again, is in the summer. We will look at such things as changing some of the criteria or the priorities that we look at. I think the committee is really comfortable with what happened this year. They're comfortable with the way everything played out, and I don't foresee anything changing.
Well, Ron, many out there also will have questions for you. Go to ESPN.com at 3:30 for a live chat, and Ron will answer your question if you have one involving your school. Thanks so much, Ron.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Of course, the father of John Graham, the Tampa Bay Lightning goaltender. And as we wrap this up, Adam, and we look at this, the big picture, what are your final comments, something you want to say to wrap it all up?
Well, we talk about the esoteric of this tournament so much, but, this is going to be a great tournament again. I mean, the last few weeks of the college hockey season have been incredible. We've seen a lot of great games. This is the best time of year. It only gets better.
Bob, last year, 3 of the 4 #1 seeds made it to the Frozen Four. I'm thinking, you're thinking that's not going to be the case this year.
Well, that may happen again, but I'm not esoteric. I picked the best goaltender, and Jimmy Howard's the best goaltender in the country. And not being esoteric, I'm going to pick Maine, but they got to score some goals. They can't keep on winning 1-goal, 2-goal games.
The 2 #1 seeds from last year's field did not make the tournament, Cornell and Colorado College. Well, boys, great job as always. It's the best sport in the world, and this tournament is one of the best there is. For Bob Norton, who will be there, and Adam Woden, I'm John Butchergoss. Thanks so much for watching the Hockey Selection Show, and check out the Frozen Four on ESPN2 and ESPN.
The championship match from the desert features petite Justine Arden, #1 in the world after winning 3 of the last 4 slams. She's worked on her game like a Trojan, and it's paid off. Lindsay Davenport looking to get...
And we'll send you a free video or DVD that tells you all about it. Or order your very own tread climber today and start slimming down and shaping up right away. How much would you pay to have a body like this? Through this special TV offer, the tread climber is yours for no money down and payments lower than many health club dues. And every tread climber is backed by the Nautilus 100% satisfaction guarantee. If you order today, you'll receive this valuable gift, Dr. Ellington Darden's Lean Body Program. An instructional video featuring Men's Health cover model Owen McKibben, plus a sample nutrition program, including tasty protein bars and shakes. But that's not all. We'll also send you this interactive wireless heart rate monitor to keep you in your optimal fat burning zone. All absolutely free through this TV offer. And here's one more gift for you, worth more than $100. When you order a tread climber today, we'll include with your order the tread climber machine mat, great for protecting your carpets or floors. The tread climber is not available in stores at any price. But when you order the tread climber 5000 today, you can have all this for only $72 a month. Or request your free video or DVD to learn more about the revolutionary tread climber. Call now or order online. The preceding program was a paid advertisement for Tread Climber by Nautilus.
Attention to the talk. Fire mission. What do you got? I have a sit rep from Alpha Company. What is it? Building Chief PD, ready to be verified. Verified. #1,
Ever wondered what it's really like to be a soldier? Put yourself in the picture with this free video. You'll see over 200 great jobs in the Army and over 180 in the Army Reserve. You'll also see what skills you learn, how you can earn money for college, plus all the other ways you can keep studying while you're in the Army. You'll even get the chance to see what soldiers do in their free time. Call this number right now and get this free Army t-shirt and free video. Put yourself in the picture and see what it's really like to become an Army of One.
The Buffalo Sabres finish up their home-and-home series with the Pittsburgh Penguins Saturday night. At 7, Sabres Game Night previews all the action and provides late-breaking news. At 7:30, Lindy Ruff will look to Miro Shatan for offensive player works against the Penguins. After the game, stay tuned for hockey's best post-game show, Hockey Hotline with Mike Robitaille and Josh Mora. Sabres Game Night at 7, Sabres Penguins at 7:30, and Hockey Hotline follows the game Saturday night on Empire.
For the very first time, the state of New Hampshire is hosting an NCAA regional. For the second time, Niagara University is in the NCAA tournament. The College Hockey America tournament champs are coming off a high. Boston College is their first-round opponent, a team thankful for the start of the second season.
Some of those guys that have attitude in our hockey room, and just play hockey. Let it go and just play hockey today, all right?
Jerry York's Eagles have come here to Manchester, New Hampshire in the Verizon Wireless Arena for Northeast Semifinal #1, where the #1 seeds will take on 4th-seeded Niagara later today, New Hampshire and Michigan in the other part of this bracket. Welcome to Manchester, everyone. Along with Cap Raider, I'm Eric Freed. Here in Game 1, two very similar teams. Two teams that like to push it down the ice, some very skilled forwards.
Well, this is what college hockey is all about, skill and speed. And BC has plenty of that, as well as Niagara. But Tony Vos, he leads the nation in goals. He's a dynamite player. He can finish. He can play a physical game. You know, you look at his points, 12 multi-point games, 7 multi-goal games. I mean, this is an impact player. And then Ben Eves, he's the big question mark. He's missed 16 games this year with a broken kneecap, but he's still 4th on the team. He's their leader on the ice as well as off the ice. So it's going to be important for BC to have Ben Eves be at his best.
And the captain says he is at 100%. Now for Niagara, they have had a week off as well. They won the tournament championship 2 weeks ago, but as I mentioned, they're coming off a high thanks in large part to Joe Tolari.
Well, Niagara, again, has skilled forward speed. Joe Tolari scored the big overtime goal against Bemidji State last week to get Niagara into the NCAA tournament. He's a skilled player as well as the centerman, Barrett Eggerts. 51 points, 4th in the nation, 25 goals so he can finish, but also 26 assists so he's a playmaker, and they both play on the top line.
Well, when you talk about an offensive showdown, usually it's who's going to play the better defense. We'll find out. We're going to drop the puck here in a moment between Boston College and Niagara. You are watching men's ice hockey regional action from ESPN syndication.
A special announcement from the Bargain Network. You can buy cars for as low as $500. Choose from thousands of cars repossessed and seized by the U.S. Customs, IRS, FBI, and private organizations. Call 800-831-6931. Foreclosed homes and distressed properties are selling for as low as $199 a month. HUDs, VAs, and FHAs, repos, and more.
Through the Bargain Network, I got my dream car, and I saved a lot of money.
New cars and homes are being added every day. For listings in your area, call now. 800-831-6931. Call now.
When you make the clothing you sell it with pride, and you sell it for less. Where can you find quality, selection, and price? At M. Weil, where they've been making men's tailored clothing since 1913. Some of the world's most famous designer clothing is made right here in Western New York. M. Weil also offers a huge selection of designer sportswear and accessories. And at up to 50% off every day, it's the perfect fit.
The savings are exceptional at the M. Weil Super Clearance Sale, now in progress.
All
Across America, people are celebrating their freedom from credit card debt. They're using Consolidated Credit Counseling Services.
We work with credit card companies to get your interest rates reduced or even eliminated.
Consolidated cut our interest rates in half.
Our payments dropped from $650 to $350 a month. It was great.
Call 1-800-378-7593.
Consolidated Credit was able to take my credit card interest and reduce it from 20% down to 9%.
By calling Consolidated Credit now, you can cut your monthly payments by up to 50%.
Consolidated Credit cut our payments in half. I had so many credit cards and they lowered the rates on all of them. I can't believe how easy it is to pay off all my credit cards.
Call now for a free consultation. 1-800-378-7593. That's 1-800-378-7593.
Freedom!
To believe in dreams.
To believe in my dreams.
To believe in goals.
To believe in our goals.
To believe in a friend.
To believe in a teammate.
Do you believe?
I believe.
I believe. I believe.
We are back in Manchester. Set to start the Northeast Regional. Sellout crowd here at Verizon Wireless Arena. It won't be filled yet because UNH is coming later today. Right now, it's time to take a look at BC and Niagara. In goal for the Eagles, Matti Kaltiainen, the junior from Finland, 25 wins on the season, a 1.75 goals against average, second in the nation. Jeff Van Nuytenen in goal, the sophomore from Stratford, Ontario, leading Niagara, according to Dave Burkholder, the head coach of the Purple Eagles. He's the most improved player on this Niagara team this year, and that's a pretty good thing when your goalie is your most improved player. Niagara will be wearing the road purple, BC in the home whites.
And Van Nuytenen's going to be tested, and he's going to have to be awfully good today, I feel, with this attack of BC.
Give us some of your game keys here, Cap. Right out of the blocks, we see the two top lines for these teams on the ice for the opening draw. This is going to be one of the top battles. The top line for Niagara against the top line for Boston College.
Well, Burkholder said that Niagara was going to play their game. They're going to come right at BC. They're going to go with their strengths as far as speed. And that's one of BC's strengths. I think knowing BC a little better, they have a better overall game, BC. They can beat in so many ways. Strong defensively, strong in net, strong on special teams. So we'll see how Niagara matches up against them.
An aggressive defenseman like Andrew Albert's carrying in. Backhanded attempt by Van Eves. That stop. Here's his younger brother Patrick. Set it up, deflected wide. BC bunting here in the opening moments around Van Nuytenen. They get it set up back to the point with Alberts. Has a very big shot, but dumps it into the corner for Patrick Eves.
Well, this is the kind of start BC wants. You know, they're coming off a very disappointing quarterfinal loss against BU. They've had, almost 2 weeks off. They've got to come up with a good start here, get their confidence, and enjoy the game again. And they're somewhat fragile, I'm sure.
Chris Collins with a shot redirected by Vos. Kept in the zone by J.D. Forrest. Here's Ryan Shannon, one of the other top offensive threats for Boston College. Collins turned and fired. That was knocked down. Niagara with a chance again to clear the zone. They'd be wise just to take an icing if it was available. It's not going to make it all the way because here comes Clark after it for Niagara. Adams works it around. Collins hacks it out of the zone. That one's heading all the way down the ice. Arm is up. Icing is the call. We welcome in Sherry Scalco, ice side for us.
Thanks, Eric. Both Niagara and Boston College have had almost 2 weeks off from hockey, but they've been completely different types of vacations. Niagara is coming off a tough-fought overtime win in the CHA championship, which they needed to advance to the tournament. And Coach Dave Burkholder wants to make sure that his team knows that the toughest part isn't over. Meanwhile, Boston College has lost 5 of its last 6 games, including 2 of 3 in the Hockey East Championship in the first round. But BC captain Ben Eves said that the team still knows how to win, and they're looking forward to doing it this weekend.
Thank you, Sherry. Look forward to hearing from you as we go along here today and during our intermissions as well. It was a little bit of a vacation for Boston College because Jerry York, after they lost to Boston University in the Hockey East quarterfinals, they took 5 days off.
I think
go away from the rink, go away from hockey, come back, and we'll get back to work.
Well, they re-energized themselves. You know, it had to be devastating to lose in the quarterfinals, especially after the season they've had. They won the Hockey East regular season, but what a great idea. Get away from the rink, recharge your batteries, fresh mentally more than anything. Then you come back and you're ready to go.
Ty Hennis is dropped down in front of the BC bench. Niagara back for it, scoreless here, opening moments in Manchester.
And that's key for Niagara right now. You know, BC applied some pressure deep in the zone, but if Niagara can weather the storm, each minute that goes by goes in Niagara's favor. They're the underdogs, obviously. If they can just stay with it, like Holy Cross did last night against North Dakota, you had to give them credit. Niagara's looking to do the same thing. Keep BC off the board, stay in it, let the momentum swing to them.
Flipped around through the boards and all the way down the ice. Icing is waved off. One key here for Niagara is certainly not to keep the puck in their zone. If they got an opportunity, they got to clear it out because BC will keep that pressure on and they'll try to create the turnovers. Very good transition team as well. So Niagara can't spend a lot of time in their zone.
No, and if there's one question, it might be Niagara's defense. They've used 8 defensemen all year. So if BC can pin them in there.
Tony Vos trying to use his speed.
You know, work on that Niagara defense. The more time you spend in the Niagara zone, especially deep, you wear the Niagara defense down. After a time, that takes its toll.
Flipped out, Kaltiainen comes out to play it. And brought back over the line. Paul Muniz was offside. Jerry York, the head coach of the Boston College Eagles. Graduate of Boston College with 695 career wins. 2 national titles, one at Boston College and one at Bowling Green. Sherry talked about it a few moments ago. 1-5 over the last 6 games.
Well, he might have needed those 5 days off.
Yeah, maybe.
Not only the players need the 5 days off, the coaching staff also.
Try to find a golf course that's open around Boston just to get away from it all. Set up in front, score!
Oh, that's a great start for Niagara right there. First shot, and it's in the net. Kalari, I believe, is going to get it.
He scored their most recent goal to win the CHA championship, and he keeps it going to put Niagara on the board. Joe Tolari.
Well, here's the centering right there. Tolari gets under Harold's stick. Right here, Kaltiainen moves out, but not enough, and it gets up over Kaltiainen's shoulder. That's a goal scorer's goal right there. You have to eliminate that forward stick, though, if you're Harold. You got to get under the stick. But, you know, you talk about upsets, that's the way they start, like that. BC has dominated in the Niagara territory, and the first time, really, that Niagara gets possession in the BC end, it ends up in the BC net. Now, you and I have talked about this before, Kaltiainen, this is a big weekend for him. Great numbers, good college goalie. Can he make that next step to be an elite goalie in college hockey? This is a big weekend, in my eyes, for Kaltiainen.
That's the first shot on goal for Niagara, and for all the pressure BC was putting on, they weren't credited with a shot on goal. So Niagara weathering the storm on that end, come back, they get a good opportunity. Tolari gets the goal. That's his 16th of the season. There was a lot of pressure on Joe Tolari coming into this year. He was a finalist for the Hobey Baker Award a year ago, preseason player of the year in the CHA, and those expectations turned out to be pretty high and put a lot of pressure on him. But now he's starting to play his game, it appears, coming up with a big goal in overtime to get Niagara to the tournament and getting the goal here to start the scoring here in Manchester.
Well, quantity for the points for Tolari aren't there, but the quality of goals, certainly. The overtime goal, the CAA championship game, and the first goal here in the NCAA. So
great start for the 4th seeded Purple Eagles. Joe Tolari getting Niagara on the board. Here in Manchester, it's Niagara 1, Boston College nothing.
What am I? Am I a basketball player who's a psychology major? Or am I a psychology major who's a basketball player? You know, that's the thing about psychology. You tend to overanalyze everything.
There are over 360,000 NCAA student athletes, and just about all of us will be going pro in something other than sports.
Don't miss your chance to attend the 2005 NCAA Men's Frozen Four at the Jerome Schottenstein Center in Columbus, Ohio, April 7th and 9th. Log on to ncaasports.com to apply for your tickets. Remember, the only way to get tickets to the 2005 NCAA Men's Frozen Four is to apply online. So log on to ncaasports.com April 1st through June 1st to apply. That's NCAA Sports, the official website of the NCAA.
Joe Tallari from Justin Cross. Niagara 1-0. Tallari says a good blend of personalities makes up this Niagara team.
There's a lot of different type of guys on our team. Some guys are all business, some guys are just there to have a good time. But when a time is important that we have to show up to a game, everybody shows up. And I think that shows in our CHA championship there. We have a lot of depth. Guys like Nick Cormanios, Jordan Meloff, and Paul Muniz. They're seniors. They stepped up that weekend.
They needed that win, obviously, to get into the NCAA tournament. This is their second appearance. Their first ever appearance was back in 2000 when Niagara upset UNH in the opening round. Blaze McDonald was the coach of that Niagara team, got that program started, and McDonald now the head coach of UMass Lowell. He was around yesterday talking to Burkholder, his former assistant here at Niagara. BC trying to put something on net here. Brett Peterson, the defenseman, comes in deep, circles it around. Oliveto can't reach it. Ryan Murphy trying to dig it off the boards. Cleared out and all the way down and icing. Back downstairs to Sherry Scalco.
Thanks, guys. When Niagara drew its first-round opponent in Boston College, Dave Burkholder received a lot of phone calls from the coaching community telling him that he needed to trap in order to contain Boston College's offense. That's something that Niagara hasn't done all season, and he said, no way. We're going to play our own game. We've gotten this far by it, and we're going to win by it if that's the case.
Sherry, he has a lot of seniors on this team, seniors that came in trying to keep things going after that NCAA tournament appearance, and he's so proud of these seniors and what they've done. But I got to give him credit. He's like, I'm going to dance with who brung me. These guys have been doing it all year long. I'm not going to change a thing. It's worked out so far for him here today.
Well, they believe in how they play. There's no need to change.
Here's another chance. Kaltiainen kicked that one aside as Jordan Meloff walked right in.
Well, that's, Meloff sent us the fourth line, and that was one thing Burkholder talked about yesterday. Lines 1 through 4. Some of their opponents have always complimented all four lines of balance for Niagara.
Redirected, Van Nightman got the pad down. That one sent down. It's going to come right in on Kaltiainen, who plays it.
Eric, for all the possession that BC's had and all the cycling down low, they really haven't gotten the puck to the front of the net and on net, and that's going to have to happen here. The start has possession-wise has been great for BC, but not on the board.
Patrick Eaves comes in, drags it, saved by Van Nightman. Best chance so far, scrambling around, knocked away again, and ringed around on the near boards, kept in by Harrell.
Well, there's a quality shot. Nightman, that was a great stop. He was aggressive out on it, square to the puck on Eaves.
Good defensive play by Hamanuk as Ben Eaves tried to work it around. Hamanuk loved it down, but now they're trying to work it out the far boards. Niagara on top of Boston College, 1-0 here, first period.
Again, Niagara not trying to do anything too fancy in their D zone. They get the puck, it's off the glass, but it's an icing.
Bose in front, out of the reach of Patrick Eaves. And now sent out. I bet you will probably set some kind of record for icing here today.
And you can't blame him. I mean, you can see how BC is really having a possession game down low.
Best chance so far for Boston College came off the stick of Patrick Eaves.
Well, here's Eaves cutting in off the right wing, head up, looks, elects to shoot. Van Nightman, look how he's out square. Beautiful positioning. Look at the top of the blue. There's a good angle of it right there. And kept on his knees, but his upper body ready for the second shot. So there's two big stops for Van Nightman for Niagara.
Van Nightman with 18 wins on the season, 2 shutouts, the MVP of the CHA tournament. Now Clark works it in for Niagara, drops it back for Chris Welsh.
The thing is, if you have an offense, which Niagara does, if people have said that their forwards are their strength, if you get a hot goaltender, a lot of things can happen. That's where upsets happen.
The defensive play by Andrew Lackner. They can't get it out of the zone. Glove down in front. Collins sends it wide. Coming off the boards is Dave Spina. Spina. One of the big question marks coming into this game did focus on if Niagara had the speed defensively to match BC's speed. Well, if BC's getting into the zone, that's one thing, but Niagara's been able to battle in close quarters and try to limit the quality opportunities. We saw that great opportunity for Patrick Eaves, and yeah, the puck's been in the zone quite a bit, but Niagara's been hanging tough defensively.
They have hung tough, and I think BC has to continue to work that low game. Like I said earlier, if they can wear the Niagara defense down, it might not pay off here in the first 20 minutes or maybe even 30 minutes, but by the end of the game, if BC spend a lot of time in the Niagara end, especially deep, they'll get their chances.
Rooney, that That one went just wide. Kept in, sent back through. Van Nuyten was down, and that missed the mark. Chance here for Niagara to clear the zone, and they do so. Hanu Karu got it out towards center ice. Back for the Purple Eagles. Closing in on 12 minutes to go, first period. Stopped right at the blue line.
Well, that was almost like a home run pass right there. Two Niagara forwards were up at the BC blue line, so they were looking for the 2-on-1 off a fast break.
Oliveto slowed down by Havern. Through center ice, off the stick of Nick Camaños. Around for Havern for Boston College. 3-on-3 here for the Eagles. Ty Hennis, Justin Jama, that line out there right now. Turnover in the zone. Niagara in front. Tatiana pokes it away. Good aggressive play there. Another opportunity with Niagara knocking on the door.
Oh, that's a tough turnover by BC in their own end. Kaltiainen, now that was a big stop. Key stop right there. Niagara goes up 2-0. This could be an uphill battle for BC, even though they're the favored team. You know, they're on the fragile side right now. Lost 5 out of the last 6 games.
One win in the last 6 games, and it's very early in this one. But if this continued, you wonder how doubt starts to creep in, and
well, they need
second guessing. Now a turnover in the neutral zone. A chance here as the top line comes in. Tony Vos moves in on goal. That ramped up over Van Nuyten, and I think it came off a stick.
Well, he might have got a piece of it with his stick or his pad.
Now transition here for Niagara as Talari tried to step forward. Talari with the goal, 3:35 into this game. BC as we go back and forth. Van Nuyten with the save on the bid by Harrell.
See the things that are showing up for BC, though. Speed through the neutral zone, possession low. You know, it's a matter of time if BC can just keep it going.
But right now, it's going Niagara's way. They have the lone goal in this game, on top 1-0 here in the Northeast region.
I was this close to filing bankruptcy. My credit card debt was out of control.
I didn't know where to turn. Are you overwhelmed by debt? Are creditors breathing down your neck? Do you feel lost and helpless? Then do what thousands of Americans have done. Join Debt-Free today.
Debt-Free got me out of debt and saved me thousands of dollars.
It's a great feeling knowing I'm helping my clients get out of debt and getting their life back on track.
Debt-Free is a nonprofit organization that works with over 50,000 creditors to get you out of debt quickly and easily.
Debt-Free got rid of my high interest rates, late fees, and penalty charges.
You make one easy payment a month. Debt-Free does the rest.
When I explain to a caller how Debt-Free works, I can almost feel the weight lifting off their shoulders.
Debt-Free saved my life and my marriage.
Thanks to Debt-Free, I'll be debt-free.
Debt-Free could save you thousands. Don't wait another second. Gather your bills and call Debt-Free today.
Back in Manchester with Niagara on top 1-0. It was almost 2-0.
Well, here's a BC turnover. You're going to see the puck come right to the middle of the ice and create the turnover. Good neutral zone forecheck, really. Right there, right on the Niagara stick. And J.D. Forrest had the turnover. There was a slight 2-on-1, but Kaltiainen, great stop. I mean, that was a big-time stop. Timing is everything, and that could have put Niagara up 2-0. You know, you've got to be sure when you make that pass out of the D zone, you got to keep it out of the middle of the ice unless you're 100% sure that's open. Bad things happen in the middle of the ice, or good things if you're on offense. I'm thinking from the goalie.
It's a thin line, yeah. That's the goalie, old goalie talking. Usually it's something not very good. Ryan Shannon has had a tremendous year for Boston College. Cap talked about it at the top of the telecast. Ben Eves has missed so much time coming off a fractured kneecap. Shannon has stepped in and helped keep things going.
He's been the unsung hero.
Without question.
That I've seen, and the speed, tenacity you can play with, big-time goals.
Dave Spina gives chase. Chris Collins comes in. It's on the near boards, and here comes Niagara with a chance to get out of the zone. They couldn't, kept in by Forrest. Now back through center ice. Clark with speed on left wing takes the shot, saved by Kaltiainen, and Andrew Alberts is there to help him out defensively.
I'll say one thing for Niagara, they keep those forwards high. They're going to go for it. Coach Burkholt was right. They're going to stay with that offensive pressure in the speed game. You know, it could cost them later as far as outnumbered rushes when you're playing BC. But right now, I mean, as the time ticks by and they keep this lead or it's a close game, they're going to be in it.
Took the shot, knocked down on the deflection before it got to Van Nuyten. Well, you wonder as the game goes along, obviously adjustments are made. He says he's not going to come out and play the trap right away. Well, you got a 1-0 or 2-0 lead. If it evolves into that, then you're going to maybe pull back a little bit, but we'll see how things go here. You don't want to go away with the game plan too much. Gale right on the blue line, try to drop it back. Here is Polari.
I'm not prevent defense. I'm not one of those prevent defense. Prevents you from winning, I think. If you've gotten the lead 2-1, 3-1, or whatever it is, you keep playing. You just emphasize certain points.
That's a long way down the line to start thinking about that.
Oh, yeah.
First period here.
But we saw it last night in Albany, in the Harvard main game.
Harvard was up 4-1 in front by Knighton and put the paddle down. Harvard up 4-1. Maine comes back with 4 unanswered goals. And top team in the country winning 5-4 to advance on to the regional final in Albany later this evening when they'll face Wisconsin, an overtime winner over Ohio State.
Again, BC doing a great job cycling, grinding along in the low game, but they've got to start getting the puck to the front of the net.
Cross, who along with Eggetts were credited with assists on the Tulare goal. 1-0 Niagara here in the first period. One thing not to overlook is Niagara is the one team in this region, icing waved off, coming off a win. Michigan, UNH, BC, their last games are all losses. BC in the Hockey East tournament, UNH in the Hockey East semifinals, Michigan in the title game of the CCHA Super 6.
And a big win in a championship game like that, Niagara can use that like a springboard effect, the emotions of it. And sometimes it works for you, and sometimes it works against you because you're sometimes that overconfident.
Ben Eves dropped it in. Eves is coming off a stretch of games where all he did was play on the power play. He's been out there even strength so far. His BC team trailing 1-0.
I was this close to filing bankruptcy. My credit card debt was out of control.
I didn't know where to turn. Are you overwhelmed by debt? Are creditors breathing down your neck? Do you feel lost and helpless? Then do what thousands of Americans have done. Join Debt-Free today.
Debt-Free got me out of debt and saved me thousands of dollars.
It's a great feeling knowing I'm helping my clients get out of debt and getting their life back on track.
Debt-Free is a nonprofit organization that works with over 50,000 creditors to get you out of debt quickly and easily.
Debt-Free got rid of my high interest rates, late fees, and penalty charges.
You make one easy payment a month. Debt-Free does the rest.
When I explain to a caller how debt-free works, I can almost feel the weight lifting off their shoulders.
Debt-Free saved my life and my marriage.
Thanks to Debt-Free, I'll be debt-free.
Debt-Free could save you thousands. Don't wait another second. Gather your bills and call Debt-Free today.
Welcome back to Manchester, where the Niagara Purple Eagles hold a 1-0 lead over Boston College. One thing to look for is how Niagara will maintain their composure. They may not be a high-profile team like Boston College and New Hampshire and Michigan are, but Coach Dave Burkholder has made sure that his team has played in high-profile venues like Michigan State, Michigan, and North Dakota. So it's unlikely that they'll be rattled in situations like this.
Here they come with the 1-0 lead. A good shot and a save by Kaltiainen. Puck bounces out to the point. Redirected, Kaltiainen sweeps it aside. That puck was bouncing around there for a moment. An anxious moment for Boston College.
Absolutely.
Offside called here.
And that was a good rush for Niagara, and they actually had a good cycle game going right there. They had a couple great shots on net. Here it is here. This is initially off the rush. Save Kaltiainen. Rebound goes out in front, goes back to the point. They got another shot.
Well, just to finish Sherry's point, this is a Niagara team. Dave Burkholder's squad beat UNH when UNH was the #1 team in the country. The Wildcats were shorthanded that day, but don't take anything away from the effort and the schedule. An ambitious one non-conference for Niagara. Despite all that, they've gotten to a 21-win season, and here they are in the NCAA tournament. And putting more pressure on as Kaltiainen scrambled as that one came off from behind the net. Transition play here with Collins, knocked down by Niagara's goaltender Van Nuyten, and set out in front for a moment. Here comes Kalari in transition with Harold back. Wrist shot saved by Kaltiainen.
Well, you can see Niagara getting confidence in their offensive attack. I mean, that was a great little touch pass that Cross gave in the neutral zone. There's the scouting report right there.
And a lot of people, this is their first look at Niagara coming out of College Hockey America, but you can't help but be impressed by that forward line, that first line.
Whoop, will that enter into it, the 82% on the penalty kill?
Not yet.
Not
no
yet.
penalties yet in this game.
And they talked about that, Burkholder talked about that yesterday. They got to stay out of the box.
Matt Shigos, Kevin Langseth, John Leduc are officials here today. Haven't had to say their name until then. Lovato hit the post. Boy, you can just see the confidence continue to grow here for Niagara.
I mean, now they've gotten chances off.